What's happening, y'all? Come on in. So I said I was going to do a Q&A tonight, or ask the bishop, excuse me. Tonight we're talking relationships, dating, sex, friendships, all of it, because relationships are bigger than just romantic relationships. So come on in. I said I was going to do it tonight. Come on in and let me know where you are watching from tonight. Come on in. Let me know where you are watching from tonight. The bishop. Yes, it is I. Come on in, everybody. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to do, somebody says you up. It's only 10 o'clock here in Denver. So I don't know what time it is where y'all at, but let me know where you're watching from. I see some Chicago in the house. I saw some Atlanta already in the house. Jacksonville, Florida. Come on, it's 12 o'clock there. All right, come on here. What's going on? Shalom, Philadelphia. Come on, Philly. Let me know where you're watching from, Little Rock. So, guys, can I get you to use that question mark thing down there? And let me see. Do I know how to, I don't know how to do that. Okay, all right, there you go. Use that question mark down there. I want to take your questions tonight. First of all, let me just say, last night's message to open up our series, Poison, was amazing. I'm telling you. How do you get that message? You can get it in our app. What's the best way to get our app? Text the word harvest to the phone number 55498. You're coming to Denver Saturday? Come on. All right. So if you're here on Sunday, stop through. We'd love to have you. And from Houston, come on through. Text the word harvest to the phone number 55498. You get our mobile app. You'll be able to connect with us. Hey, Detroit, and you can get the message and all of that. So come on in. I know y'all are not used to seeing me on a Thursday night at this time. I'm going to do 5 questions. Normally I say 5 and I end up taking like 15. I'm going to do 5 questions. Once I see 5 questions in the queue, I'm going to stop at those 5 questions. Poison was fire, Bishop. Everything I needed. Come on here. Come on, North Carolina. And then for coming from Houston, there's the address to the Aurora campus. But the best thing to do is get our app. You can get everything, music, messages, and more right there. Text the word harvest to 55498, and you can connect that way. Come on in, guys. Tell me where you're watching from. Questions down below. When I get to 5, I'm going to take them. I got 5 on it. I'm going to take them 5 questions, those 5 questions, and about relationships, dating, anything. While I was thinking about this, when I got in from my workout this evening, one of the things that that resonated with me, and I want this to resonate with you, you are always, and I've taught this before, but I want to say it again, you are always asking too much when you're asking the wrong person. I'm going to say it again. You are always asking too much. Here it is, when you are asking the wrong person. Many times in relationships of all types, people will say things like, oh, you just expect a lot, you want a lot, just standing to have this and that. And the reality is there may be some level of truth to modification. But here's the deal. When you're asking the wrong people to get it done, you're always asking too much. And one of the greatest things I ever learned to do in life is to not reduce my expectation, but simply learn how to move people out of seats that they cannot produce in. And it can be painful, it can be difficult in every area of your life. Friendships, if you're the leader of anything, that can be difficult. But many times where we get frustrated in relationships is it specifically deals in the realm of our expectations. And it's always too much if you're asking the wrong person. Like, to the wrong person, asking them to do anything is too much. Can you be on time? Oh, I just got this, and shut up. You know what? You just can't do it. So we just need to get somebody else. All right? And you get somebody else. Can you do this? Oh, well, this and this and this and this and this. And many times in life, I want to teach this. You are not operating from a scarcity mentality. I need you to type that on the screen. I know it's long, but I need you to get that in your mind. You are not operating from a scarcity mentality. You are not operating from a scarcity mentality. What does that mean? Well, I have to settle for this because there may not be more available. And this is in every relationship type. Like, well, let me tolerate this, which I said I wasn't going to tolerate. But if you have a scarcity mentality, you are always fearful of being, here it is, 2021. You're always fearful of it just being you. What am I going to do? How am I going to start over? How am I going to this? How am I going to this? Who's going to do that? And one of the greatest things that I've learned is that when you're not operating from a scarcity mentality, you do not allow things that are intolerable to be tolerated, because you realize, listen, I love what They said to Jesus, they go to him. John's disciples go to him. And guys, I got 3 questions in the queue. I get 2 more. I'm going to answer them. So if you got a question, anything about relationships, just type it right in there. And really, it can be beyond relationships. Just ask the bishop tonight. So we're talking about anything. I've enjoyed doing these pop-ups. I'm gonna need y'all to share this though, and I'm gonna need Instagram to open that up so we can get more folks on here tonight. But John's disciples say to Jesus. So John the Baptist, right? He's not a Baptist because he goes to a Baptist church. A better word, there's a baptizer. It's actually a Hebrew custom called a mikvah. So 1, it was when people committed themselves to God. But then 2, it was used as a cleansing ceremony. And then 3, it was used to ordain someone to the priesthood. So when Jesus goes to John the Baptist to be baptized, he's actually being ordained into the priesthood. So important to understand that. So anyway, and John's disciples go to him and they go to Jesus and they say, listen, are you the one or should we look for another? Wow. They go to Jesus and say, look, we've heard all these great things about you, and we think you could fill this seat. In your life, you have seats in your life. For every relationship type, you have seats in your life, seats that people occupy in your life. And so they say to him, are you the one or should we look for another? In other words, we'd like for it to be you, but if you're not it, just let us know so we're going to find another. Here's another example of this in scripture. When Mordecai goes to the queen, Esther, and he says, hey, listen, who knows? Perhaps you have come into the kingdom for such a time as this. They were saying, perhaps you've taken this seat of authority for such a time as this. And I want you to hear me. He said, but nevertheless, the Lord is going to deliver us whether you do it or not. I need y'all to hear me. In other words, Mordecai was like, listen, this is going to get done with you or without you. I just need to know if you're going to be a part of it. In your life, many times you have to take that same approach. I got 4 questions, 1 more, and I'm going to answer them once I get to 5. I just hopped on here a few minutes ago. Once I get to 5. So that mentality, you have to carry that same mentality. Hey, Apostle, you have to carry that same mentality when you're dealing with people in your life, especially those of you that are the leaders of anything. You have to be so cognizant of that principle. That are you the one or should we look for another? Are you going to sit in this seat or should I get somebody else to sit in this seat? But what I'm not going to do is sit here and go back and forth about what's already been clear about what the seat requires. Same thing is true as friendships. Same thing is true in romantic relationships, right? Life was not designed to be lived in misery in a place that is supposed to be your sanctuary. I'm going to say it again. Life was not designed to be to be lived in misery in a place that was designed to be your sanctuary. You fight all day dealing with this, that, and the other. When you come to your home with your spouse, that is not supposed to be another place of warfare. Can I get a witness tonight? All right, this is some sirens in the background. All right. So anyway, ask your questions tonight. I got 1 more question, and then we're there. I see 4, and it looks like the number is changing a bit. We got 1 more question. I'm going to take 5 questions tonight about relationships. All of that. We'll answer it. It's going to be good. How many of you, for those of you who saw the series last night, or the opening of the series Poison, or Love Songs, and the first song we did was Poison, 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 Poison. I love that. I love that song. But so that's the song we open it up with. And we did that song on purpose for this reason, that when you talk about love, you always love through the lens of your past experiences. And if you do not first deal with the lens that you're looking through, you are never going to be able to love properly. And I need you to just type this. My next 12 will be my best love 12. And guys, this is bigger than romantic love, but that's part of it, but it's bigger than that. Love is bigger than just romance. How do you love God? How do you love people? How do you love your own life? Come on here. Poison brought so much clarity, right? It was an amazing word. I encourage you to get it. Again, how do you get it? Text the word harvest to 55498. Get it. I have to rewatch, caught half, but half you caught was fire. Yes. And so I talked about the Apostle Paul. One more question, guys, and then I'm going to take your questions. I'm going to get 5 and then we're done. And I'm saying that because I know it's going to happen. It's the same thing that happened when I did one on Tuesday. The moment I click the button, and all of a sudden all these questions come in. So I'm waiting on it to get to 5, and then we'll go from there. But I use the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was bitten by a viper, and I use that to teach about how he was bitten. The snake is now burning in the fire. Watch me. But as he's bitten, or as the snake is burning in the fire, the poison has been introduced into Paul's body. And that's the same way relationships work. There are certain people that have been sent into your life. See, there it goes. Now, all of a sudden, we're in double-digit questions. As there are certain people who are sent into your life. The snake was sent, and you have to go watch the word. Why? It was amazing. The snake was sent. How do you know the snake was sent, Bishop? Because vipers have infrared. That's how they see. The Bible says that they were cold and they were wet. It was raining. So how did the viper specifically spot Paul? How did the viper specifically spot Paul when Paul is cold and wet? He didn't see anybody else. He skips everybody else that's there and he gets to Paul. This viper was sent. And I need for some of you to hear me. There have been people that have been sent into your life with the intent to bite and poison. To bite and poison, then leave. Listen, to bite you and poison you and then leave. Because once the poison's introduced into your body, I taught that last night about the natural shows us something spiritual, shows us something emotional. And so you got to see what happens to that. Can I just get you to wave at me, everybody on here, if you've ever had somebody that came into your life and they bit you? What do you mean they bit you? It was something vipers have long hinged fangs, which means it was betrayal. It was disappointment. It was frustration. It was anger. And that snake was sent. Y'all better hear me. I have realized, can I tell you something? You don't even sometimes realize that you are on the enemy's hit list. You think a lot of what happens to you is coincidental. Then on the flip side, you have people who think that everything that happens to the devil. If they get a chipped toenail, the devil is attacking them. No, you just need to pay attention where your toes at. Here's the point. Sometimes you don't even recognize the significance of what it is that you're doing. That snake was sent to Paul to bite him and then leave. And what's so significant about that is it left the poison. The Bible says that the people were expecting him to swell up and die. And I need everybody to listen to me right now. Why did it happen? You got to watch that word from last night. You got to watch that word. It's called Poison. It's in the series. We just started last night called Love Songs. But in that, they were expecting him to swell up and die. And for many of you, the enemy was hoping that what bit you last month, what bit you a year ago, what bit you, here it is 6 years ago, that it was going to cause you to die. And I began to walk through all of the different toxins that are introduced into the body. For example, one of them paralyzes you. So for many of you, the situation has been over for years, but you're still paralyzed by it. You're paralyzed and you're stuck. You're stuck when it happened, where it happened, and to the type of who. You're literally drawn. You have Stockholm syndrome. You are drawn to the same type of person that always does you wrong. Do y'all hear me? I see you for the past 5 years. That snake was speaking in tongues for me. Wow. But here's what I need you to know. The snake was hoping you were going to die. And watch me, because you can die without dying. What do you mean? You stop making progress. You stop moving forward. But I need you to make this declaration. But I'm still here. Come on, say it, y'all. Type it on the screen. I'm still here. Even those of you looking on the replay, because we're going to post this on Facebook and YouTube and all of that tomorrow. Somebody said, stepping on my toes, Bishop. No, listen, for you to love better, you have to purge the poison of where you have been hurt in your past. It's just that simple. Let me tell you what most people do. Let me get a little prop. What kind of props I got? I don't have a lot of stuff around me now. But that's cool. Use my hands. Here's friendship, relationship, whatever one. Got it? It bites you. All of these toxins are introduced to you. That snake is gone, but the poison's still in you. The toxins are still in you. So here's what happens. Then you go to the new situation. When you go to a new situation, here's the deal. You take the poison over here. And I began to walk through all of that. So now you're in a new situation, but you're still the same poisoned you. Got it? And so that's why we started this series with the message poison, because we need to begin the process of purging that. And you won't even know it until you're taught it. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I just don't do people. No, you're poisoned. You're poisoned, right? I just have trust issues. You're poisoned. That's why you have trust issues. I just don't believe what everybody say because you're poisoned. Just call it what it is. Call a thing a thing. All right. And so that message will begin that process for you. So I really encourage you to watch it because of the faithful giving of the people of Harvest. It is totally free in our app, YouTube channel, Facebook, and our podcast. All right. Again, one more time. How do you get it? You text the word harvest to 55498. All right. Let's get to these questions. Here we go. All right. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to start answering, and then a bunch more are going to start coming in. So here we go. When you mourn the death of the relationship, what are some practical steps to find the lesson and apply? It doesn't give me the second part of the question. And apply it. I don't know the rest of the question. It won't show it to me. So this is so good. There's a series I want to point you to called Grief Recovery. Whenever our natural response to human loss is grief, even if the loss was good, like a bad person exiting your life is good, but you can grieve it. You can mourn it. And so there's 5 steps to the grieving process, and apply it for wisdom. Thank you. Thank you so much. So there's 5 steps to the grieving process, and you have to go through the steps. You cannot skip the steps, but here's what the Bible says, that he has borne our griefs. What does that mean? Jesus will literally walk you through the process of grieving and get you to a place to where you're healed. How do you know you're healed? To where you remember the lesson, but you forget the pain. You remember the lesson, but you forget the pain. There are things that I talk about, and I was talking with a pastor yesterday, and I was talking about some just things that happened. And he said, "Oh my God, Bishop, people have done that to you." I was like, "Oh yeah." I said, "Oh, that's nothing." I said, "That's surface level stuff." I said, "You'd be surprised at what comes with the seat." I said, "I didn't expect some of these things that came with the seat." But as I was telling the story, I was telling it from a healed place, not a bitter place. I need you to make that declaration, say, "I'm healed." Just speak it. I'm healed. I'm healed. I'm healed. You remember the lesson, but you forget the pain. How do you know? You can talk about it and say, "You know what? I learned this and this and this." You're not mad at them anymore. You're not angry at them anymore. You're not trying to see them, die and be jacked up and tore up. The Lord will get vengeance, but that's not even on your mind. It's not even on your radar. People will have to tell you, "Did you hear what happened to so-and-so?" "No, what happened to so-and-so?" I'm like, "Oh, well, you got to do right by the man of God." I'm just saying. That's Bible. All right, here we go. Let's go. Next question. This is interesting. Can schizophrenia be the same as hearing from God? No. All right. Here we go. This is a good one. Is it easy to be single as a pastor? Yes. Guys, the Apostle Paul, I was doing our Bible reading. Oh, my phone's up here. Our Bible reading, and the Apostle Paul makes a statement. He says, are we not able to do this and that? And he says, are we not able to take a wife? Are we not able to do this and that? He starts listing all these different things in the books of Corinthians. And he's mentioning that, just saying to them, that the same, that he has a right to have a life just like they have a life. He has the right to relationship just like they do. And what was interesting, what's interesting about that is that you really begin to see this reality that different people do different things. Is it easy to be single as a pastor? Absolutely. But it's no different as anything else. It is no different than anything else. Let me just say this to whoever this is, simple as no. Okay, maybe the word was sensitive, but okay, I won't be hurt. You shouldn't be hurt, because I answered your question directly, and that wasn't my intention to be hurtful. So if you were hurtful, that certainly wasn't my intention. That was a yes or no question. Is it hearing from God? No. So it didn't require too much more. So certainly don't be hurt by that, because that wasn't my intention. I'm the people's bishop. So I'm going to give you real. You're going to get real. You're going to get raw. You're going to get direct. That's what you're going to get. But that certainly wasn't my intention. All right. So to this question, it is easy. It's no different than whatever seat you sit in. It is easy so long as you sit, so long as you understand your objective, your mission. Like, what are you here for? Because let me say this to everybody: marriage is a part of life, but it is not an end all, be all. There's some people I see it like their whole goal in life is to just get married, and if you haven't accomplished or you don't desire to achieve or produce anything else, that certainly makes sense. That certainly makes sense. And so that's the deal as it relates to that. So is it easy? Yes. All right, but everybody has their different walks, their different things. You could ask that: is it easy to be as single as a doctor, a lawyer, a judge, anything? The reality is that when you, everybody listen to me, when you are whole, it's good. Where people run into challenges, what people run into challenges is, amen, thanks, son. Where people run into challenges is that you think getting with somebody will complete you, will complete you, will complete you, will complete you. All right. And so the goal is, when you're whole, two people come together not to complete one another, but to complement one another. To complete one another, not complement one another. Or excuse me, to complement one another, excuse me, not complete one another. Let me fix that. To complement one another, not complete one another. If you are getting married to be completed, your marriage is over. It's already over before it starts. And let me just say this: relationships end up front, they never end down the road. You know, in the first 90 days, the sum total of what that relationship's going to be. And the reality is, sometimes people say, all of a sudden this just happened. I said, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. This did not just happen. They just started getting distant. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You did not pay attention to what was going on up front. And when you, in relationships, all relationship types, romantic, friendships, business, all of that, they fail up front. Right. And so that's so important that we get that. All right. When chatting on social media with one another, what is this called? Chatting. It's not texting. A text is between phones. Like a text message to a phone number, a text message to another phone number. All right. Chatting. What else? Y'all comment on that. Y'all comment on that. What else do they call that? I don't know what else they call that. What else do they call that? And chatting on social media with one another, what is it called? What is it called? What is it called when chatting on social media? What is it called? Let me see y'all's comments there. DM, right. So the DM, direct message. So DM me. I guess, there's that. DM. Somebody says courting. No, I don't think you're courting if you're just messaging somebody online. All right. Collecting data. So I get hundreds and hundreds of messages every day across my social media, and it's an interesting world out there. I'll tell you that. All right, here we go. Somebody say kicking it. Come on. All right, kicking it. Here we go. Here's the next question. What is the poison that causes one to reject everyone that tries to talk to you? Wow, good question. To the message from last night, it speaks to that. And let me say this. It's not a fear of new, it's a fear of old pain. Most of us don't fear new. What we fear is old pain. And so the thought is, there's something called, and I've taught on this before, the law of linkage. Can I get a few of you to type that? We're almost done, guys. The law of linkage. The law of linkage says this. The law of linkage says this. The law of linkage says, wherever you were hurt, you take a mental snapshot of that, of all the details. Who, what, when, where, why. You take a snapshot of that. And when you take a snapshot of that, what ends up happening is that you will always, whenever you see any of the things that are familiar, you will link, not think. So what happens is you will conclude the ending of a situation based on the ending of another situation. Now, where can the law of linkage be good for you? It can be good for you, for example, when you're dealing with people that have the characteristics of snakes. It can be good for you. There are certain things that are, when I hear, I already know what that means. I already know how to handle that. I already know how to deal with it. There's some wisdom. And no, bother. Just stay connected. Somebody said you're not mature with words. Bother. Just stay connected. Stay connected. God's gonna speak a word to you tonight. Stay connected. All right. Stay connected. And so you've got that piece. Where the law of linkage can be negative is that I shared with you guys a story when I was a kid. I went in and I grabbed the pot, or I pushed over a pot. My mother was cooking. I pushed over the pot. Steam came out. It burned back all the flesh on one of my on my wrist. I was a little kid. I think I was maybe 7, 8, 9, something like that. I remember every detail about that experience to this day. I remember the little ointment they had to get me, and it had a little white tube. You put it in there, you spin it around, and they had to put that on there, and you couldn't peel the skin off. The skin looked like a little crunchy, like little crunchies. If you ever had Captain D's, little crunchies at the bottom of the Captain D's thing, and you couldn't tell. I remember every detail. I remember where we lived. I remember what the kitchen looked like. I remember what the pot looked like. I remember every detail, and I was a child. And so what happens in that is it can be negative, because then anytime you look, I think I shared this on the line the other night, anytime I would see that, my mind immediately goes there. I was cooking something today. I was cooking, y'all. Listen. I was cooking. I was cooking something today. And, well, you know what? Actually, it's still in my wheelhouse, though. I was cooking breakfast, or my breakfast item. And when I saw the red on the stove, my mind immediately thought about that. So what ends up happening is the law of linkage can be negative when you conclude something. And listen, this stove was not the same stove. So that's when it can be negative. So the solution there is in looking at you're afraid of old pain. You're afraid of old pain. Not new people, but old pain. And the only way Paul was able, the only way that Paul was able, and you're right, it is involuntary because the law of linkage, it's a law, right? So you can't violate it. Paul, what he had to do is he had to get next to the fire and shake off the snake in the fire, the viper in the fire, which means you have to risk being burned in order to heal from the poison. In order to heal from the bite, I have to risk being burned. In order to heal from the bite, I got to risk being burned. In order to get this off of me, I have to risk being burned again. And that's just the way that it is. You have to, if you've had some bad friendships, you got to try new friendships. Talk to me, guys, in the chat. Where have you had some bad experiences in the past? Talk to me. Where have you had some bad experiences in the past? So basically, relax, give them a second to improve themselves. But ask different questions, because that's where wisdom is. Wisdom is going to ask different questions. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom is going to ask different questions. So, like, let's just say you had a predilection to pick liars. Right? Just use this example. Wisdom is going to ask different questions now. Wisdom is going to ask business partnerships, leadership. Come on, childhood. Come on, testify. Tell your testimony. Revelation 12, and we overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Wisdom asks different questions. So now what happens? I can qualify whether or not you need to stay in this space quicker. Okay? Look at their fruit. Absolutely. And ask different questions. Personal relationships. We have all experienced some of that. So now you should be able to ask better questions. In a business partnership, if you're afraid of new partnerships, ask different questions now. You ask different questions. Listen, we have been... I don't want to say too much. I learned through going through a process of something. I learned in going through that process. I learned in that process how to get something done. And I realized that many people in that particular industry, as we were going through that process, it's just an industry where you're going to get sold a bill of goods. So I learned to ask different questions. I learned to be more like an investigator, to make it an interrogation. And here's how you know you're doing good when you're connecting with people, is they'll say, wow, this is almost like an interview. You know you're doing it right then. Because listen, you may have time to waste. I don't. I need you to make this declaration about your future. No wasted time. Come on here. No wasted time. No wasted time. No wasted time. Like, I'm going to ask different questions. All right. So there you go. All right, let's go here. These last ones. How many did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I told you I was a bunch more were going to come in. I knew it. I knew it. Wow. Okay, I'm going to do one more. See, here goes Mercy. All right, I'm going to do one more. How can you help others, friends, heal and get away from poisonous relationships? You ready for this? All you can do is lead them to water. You cannot make them drink. You can't. You can't. One of the greatest misuses of your time, everybody listen, will be trying to change other people. Here's what's better. You introduce them to information that can help them. But all I can do is get you to water. I can't make you drink. And I don't care how much you love a person. Let me tell you something. As a pastor who, in my early days of pastoring, I did it. I was like, I want to be different. I want to be different. And I really invested very heavily, actually several years of pastoring. Probably still got some residue of that. But not as much. I over-invested myself into the productivity, the progress in people's lives. I mean, I jumped in. I would jump in. How I got poor connection and it's a terabyte of internet. I tell you, these phones and this internet, something else. Greatest scam on the planet. All right. So in all of that, one of the things that y'all still with me? Y'all chat. Let me know y'all still with me. Chat. Let me know you're still with me. It said there was a poor connection. I have no clue how that happened. Chat with me. Okay, I see your hearts. So y'all are there. And I would overdo it because I was like, oh no, I want to see this, and I'm going to do this. Oh no, this. I can't tell you the people I've bailed out, the people I have helped clean up messes in private, the people I have, you name it, It's glitchy a bit, right? I don't know why it's doing that, guys, but let's keep it moving. We're done. So those types of things. And you want to know where my frustration was? Here's my frustration. Y'all ready? If you can relate to this, I want you to tell me. Where my frustration was is that I had an expectation that if I go out of my way to rescue you, that the least you can do is be loyal to me. Who's ever done that? Somebody says, surprised you didn't develop the hero complex. I had it. I sure did. I had it. I absolutely had it. Ooh, but I broke it. I had the reasonable I thought it was reasonable. Is that if I just literally saved your life, literally, in some instances, my expectation was the least you could do is be loyal to the man that got you over. The least you could do is have some level of loyalty to the man that believed in you. Come on, testify. Come on, Earl said I had it too. That believed in you when everybody else said you were trash. Everybody else threw you away. Your mama threw you away. Your daddy threw you away. I'm the only man that saw any value. The only man that gave a care about you. The least you could do is have some semblance of loyalty. The least you could do is hold your square down that I gave you to hold down in what we're building. Right? And at the end of the day, the reality is, somebody says loyalty is dead. You know what? I want to stretch you there. I'm going to stretch you. It's not. You ready for this? You were just expecting it from the wrong people. Come on. It's not. And I'm a living witness to that. I was more focused on that than I was on what was right. Think about it. When you ever go to a restaurant, who do all of the, what kid gets paid attention to at the restaurant? The kid that's hollering and screaming, all that. The one that's sitting there eating good, eating their little cheese sandwich, having their little carrot sticks. Parents don't say nothing to them. But the kid that's acting a fool, That's the one that gets paid attention to. Everybody listen to me. Stop feeding. You ready for this? The wildlife. I could have church right now. Stop feeding the wildlife. What do you mean by that, Bishop? Stop feeding the people who act in an animalistic way in your life. I love that. My next 12 will be my best 12. Some of y'all have said this. My next 12 will be my best loyal 12. I am my loyalty 12. Stop feeding the animals. You feed the animals. You have more people for you than you do against you. You have more people who are loyal to you than are disloyal to you. But you focus on the disloyal ones. That's all you focus on. I am over and I'm so over. People, I'm so... Stop. You have more people fighting for you than against you. And can I be honest? I'm going to go here. I'm going to be really honest with you. Let's be super honest. It's no shade Thursday. Let me be super honest. I would get, you ready for this? I would get so discouraged by the disloyalty or the disrespect or the dishonor or the flat out lies and the flat out foolery that would come from a few, that it would make me question my call. Y'all don't want to be real tonight. It made me say, God, am I even supposed to do this? Who am I talking to tonight? And you end up wanting to quit something because of people that were not the reason you started. Ooh, but I came to snatch somebody by their edges tonight. I came to grab a brother tonight by the back of his head tonight. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I would question. I was like, God, am I even supposed to? Because these people are yours. I said, I've never seen so many assassination attempts in my life. Oh, but I beat them. Come on here. That's why you got to watch last night's message. And at the end, we did this chant. I'm glad I was bitten because now I'm a blessing. Paul was bitten at the beginning. Somebody says, I don't got Easter's bishop. That's okay. Paul was bitten at the beginning of the chapter. By the end or halfway through that chapter, what is Paul doing? Halfway through that chapter, you want to know what Paul's doing? He's laying hands, healing the island. And for many of you, that needs to be your declaration. I'm glad I was bitten because now I'm a blessing. They thought that snake was sent, that viper was sent, and they thought Paul was going to drop down and drop dead. But guess what happened? Paul ended up being a blessing to the whole island. I'm glad I was bitten because now I'm a blessing. And so let that be encouragement to you. That's enough confessions tonight. That's enough real talk tonight. So I did my 5 questions tonight. I see that there's some more in there. Guys, we're going to be doing more of these Ask the Bishops, especially through this series. And of course, we'll do them on Instagram, and I'll probably switch over, do them on just Facebook or what have you. And they'll replay either tomorrow, probably tomorrow. It'll replay or Friday. Just look out for our app. How do you get our app? Text Harvest to 55498. Right, these are my confessions. And you'll be able to get the app. Sunday's message is going to be amazing. It's the first Sunday message in the series Love Songs. I'm not going to tell you what the song is, but I can tell you it is going to speak life into your life. So you can save the pop-ups for another time. They're in here. So all you got to do is go back to my page and you'll see it. It's posted there for you. And like I said, it's on the Bishop Foreman YouTube and the Bishop Foreman Facebook. It'll be on there later. All right. You guys have an amazing night. Much love to you. If this blessed you, listen, I want you to sow. How do you sow? Use the Cash App, Bishop Foreman with the number 1, or go to harvestchurch.church/give. Lastly, if you're on here tonight and you are not a Christian, I need for you to come to the Lord tonight. You're not watching this on a Thursday night at 10:55 Mountain Time, almost 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You're not watching this by accident. God's coming to get you tonight. And become a Christian, recommit yourself to the Lord, or be sure tonight's your night. Wherever you're at, on the count of 3, I'm going to ask you real quickly to do the hand wave emoji or say, it's me. I just want to lead you to the Lord tonight. All right, let's not close out this until we do that. You missed it. You'll be able to watch the replay. If you need to become a Christian, recommit yourself, Lord, be sure. I want you to do the hand wave emoji or say it's me. 1, 2, 3. I need you to respond right now. Do the hand wave emoji or say it's me right now. Respond right now. I'm going to count down. 5. I'm waiting on you. 4. Tonight's your night to come to the Lord. No guilt, no condemnation, no shame. God's coming to get you through an Instagram Live on a Thursday night. For some of you, almost Friday morning. He's coming to get you tonight. Become a Christian, recommit yourself, Lord, or be sure. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I still need you to respond. What blesses me is seeing the hands pop up from the replay. From the replay. That blesses me. All right. I am waiting on you. Just do the hand wave emoji or say it's me. Do that hand wave emoji or say it's me. You see all these comments, you're in a safe place. It is Friday morning, 100%. All right. The hand wave emoji says it's me. Guys, let's just pray this prayer together. Everybody, let's pray it together. Say, Father, thank you for dying in my place. Because of this belief and because of this confession, this is my first time praying this. If I was far from you, I am reconnected to you. Today is the beginning of the rest of my life. In Jesus' name, amen. You can keep responding, do that hand wave emoji or say it's me. If you just pray that prayer for the first time, you need to become a Christian, recommit yourself to the Lord, or be sure. I like to not hop off of a live without doing that. Because, guys, it's all about seeing people come to the Lord. Hey, listen, when you share, people get saved. So share this with somebody tonight. It'll be posted in like 2 minutes on my Instagram. Share it with somebody tonight. And again, if you get our app, when the replay happens, you can watch the replay on YouTube and Facebook. Right, YouTube and Facebook. Love you guys. Have an amazing night. Shalom to you. Have a good night. If it bless you, go sow. Bishop Foreman #1 or harvestchurch.church.